Hello, I'm Rebecca of Pocketful of Poseys. Today's project is a continuation of my 1860s project. It is my new petticoat. I'm very excited to share this with you. It's huge. I believe the pattern I followed called for 8 yards, and I think I used 10 because I wasn't thinking, and I just had 10 yards of organdy, and I was just like, oh, yeah. So it's huge, but it's very fun, and I can't wait to share it with you. So without further ado, let's get to it. Here we go. My first step in making this petticoat was ripping the fabric down the middle, the entire length of the fabric. That very, very long piece is going to be the ruffle. I used a free pattern from Truly Victorian, the eyelet petticoat pattern. I wish I had 8 or 9 yards of eyelet to use, but alas, I did not, so I used cotton organdy. This pattern is 3 pieces, or 4 if you make a waistband as I did. Then I took the giant 10-yard ruffle piece and the B piece and found the ends of both. Then I pinned the ends together. Next, I folded and divided the ruffle and the B bottom piece and marked 8 points to match up with the ruffle and bottom piece. Then I pinned the ends of the C top piece. I went to the machine and sewed the ends of all 3 pieces. I trimmed the seam allowance with pinking shears. Then I ran gathering stitches on the top of the ruffle, all 10 yards. I pulled on the gathering threads, which took a while. Then I pinned the wrong side of the ruffle to the right side of the bottom piece. I sewed them together on the machine. Then Lucius needed cuddles. He helped while I got the top C piece ready. I turned the opening I had left over twice and pinned it. Next, I sewed gathering stitches around the top of the C-piece to gather down into the waistband. I did this before attaching this top piece to the now joined bottom and ruffle to make it easier to maneuver. I pulled on those gathering threads and gathered the top down to fit the waistband. Next, I pinned the top to the waistband. I cut a waistband to a little more than my waist measurement, and actually I cut it a little too big. Back to the machine to sew the waistband on. I cut some threads, cleaned it up a bit, and then trimmed the seam allowance. My next step was turning the waistband over the raw edges. That's when I realized, and I don't know why I didn't realize till now, but that's when I realized that I had put the waistband on backwards. So when I turned it over, it turned to the outside instead of the inside. No big deal, it's a petticoat. I really don't mind visible stitches on the outside of the waistband of a petticoat. Now it's time to pin the top to the bottom. It's pinned right side of the top to the right side of the ruffle, so the ruffle is sandwiched between the top and bottom pieces. To the machine to try to conquer this floof monster and sew the two halves together. Lucius lent his support. I used a whip stitch to secure the waistband. My fabric was wider than the 45-inch fabric suggested in the pattern, so I did have to trim the ruffle and bottom piece, so I couldn't use the selvage. And since I couldn't use the selvage, I just zigzagged the raw edges rather than hem it. My next step was attaching a hook and eye to close the waistband. Then it was finished. I love it. It is so floofy, and it's also big enough to use over a larger hoop if I want to in the future. I possibly scandalized the neighbors, but I had to get some photos by the lovely azaleas before they stopped blooming. But, as my sister Rachel says, a true lady is always clothed in dignity. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't, and if you'd like to support the channel further, I have a coffee count that is linked down below. Also, if you'd like to be notified whenever I upload, you can hit that little bell icon. Next week, I will have my finished 1860s day dress. I'm so excited to share it with you, so please stay tuned for that, and I will see you again on our next sewing adventure. Bye!